Are you looking for the best smart clock with Google Assistant? Well, look no further, because in this video, we're talking about the Lenovo Smart Clock with Google Assistant, and it might be the best thing for you. Let's get to it. Hey y'all, welcome to T4T. It is time for tech. My name is Blake. This channel exists to provide valuable tips, tricks, tutorials, and reviews to help you with your tech. So if you're new and you're interested in future content, I'd love to invite you to subscribe, join the T4T community, and we can get to know each other. And hey, after this video, if you'd like to take a closer look at this item, I've got the link down below in the description, so feel free to check it out. All right, well, today we're talking about the best smart clock with Google Assistant, and this is the Lenovo Smart Clock with Google Assistant. So let's talk about the appearance of this thing. All right, well, the Lenovo Smart Clock is a 4.8 inch wide by 2.9 inch tall, pretty compact device that actually fits quite nice on your nightstand without taking up too much space. It has a 4-inch LCD touchscreen display with a resolution of about 480 by 800 pixels. The clock contains 1 GB of RAM, 8 GB of flash storage, Bluetooth 5.0 to connect your devices, and let me tell you, this thing lacks no speed when it comes to the touchscreen responsiveness. It actually works pretty well. Above the display, we have 2 front-facing microphones and for voice recognition for Google Assistant, and I've got to say they work pretty seamlessly. So the clock contains a 3-watt speaker that actually is pretty loud for a small device, so there's no problem for you to crank your music and hear it loud enough to enjoy it. Cool, so let's look at the back of the device. So on the back, we have 3 things to look at here. We first have the power plug. So obviously what you plug into the wall so that the device turns on, it functions, right? Next here, we have a little switch here. So this switch actually is to mute the 2 front-facing microphones. So if you're someone who wants privacy, you don't want Google to listen to you, the clock to listen to you, click this switch, simply.
The mic is muted.
The mic is muted.
The mic's back on.
As easy as that. And then the last thing here we have is a the USB 2.0 plug. So it's actually pretty convenient. So say you have, all your outlets are full on the wall, you plug this thing in and that's another outlet gone. Well, the great thing is if you want to plug your phone in at night, it's as easy as plugging your charging cable in the back of the device in the USB slot here, and you can actually charge your phone through the clock into the wall. So that's pretty helpful. I think a pretty smart idea by Lenovo, if I would say so. And then the final 2 things is on the top of the device here, we have a plus and a minus, which is just gonna be your volume up, volume down, that sort of thing. And all of this is packed in a nice gray mesh fabric cover that I think it looks pretty snazzy. Well, the main feature of the device is that we have Google Assistant actually included and integrated into it. So like any Google Assistant device, we have all the capabilities of setting clocks, timers, playing music, calling people, controlling other smart home devices, and more with just using the sound of your voice. You can even see the video feed of your Google Nest doorbell. If someone's to ring the doorbell, it'll pop up on the screen. But keep in mind, it won't work with any ringing doorbells like I have. Also, when you're setting up your smart clock with the Google Home app, you can actually link your Spotify or YouTube Music account if you use that. And whenever music you play will actually show up on the screen, and you can pause, skip, back and forth, that sort of thing. Well, hey, I hope you're enjoying the video so far, and if you're finding any value out of it whatsoever, I'd love to invite you to go down and hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up. Also, why don't you go down to the comments and let me know what other smart clocks you've experienced, what you've liked, what you've disliked. I'd love to hear about it. So swiping from the main clock face over to the right brings up the ability to manually add your alarms, giving you the ability to not only set the time you want to wake up, but also the alarm volume, the length of the snooze, the length of the alarm before it auto stops, what you want the tap feature to do, which I'll explain in a second, as well as what ringtone you want for your alarm. Scrolling to the right, once again, will bring up the current weather and temperature, and once more, will also give you access to your Spotify account. Okay, so like I mentioned before, there's a tap feature included in the Google Smart Clock. Now what that means is when the alarm goes off in the morning, it's as simple as tapping the top of the clock to snooze it. Or if you want, you can also set it up to also turn it off. Also, if you have the tap feature set for the snooze rather than the stop, when the alarm goes off in the morning, all you have to do is just say stop and the alarm will stop itself. So you don't need to say, hey Google, any of that stuff, it will just stop. Pulling up from the device will give you access to the device brightness, volume, a do not disturb feature, as well as device settings. Pulling down from the top will give you access to the alarms once again, a nap timer, and a music button to trigger a playlist of yours from Spotify. Now you may have noticed there's also a nightlight button right about there. This triggers the screen to fill with a color gradient. You can choose one of the 4 default ones in the settings, adjust the brightness of the nightlight, as well as the timer for when you want it to auto turn off. The smart clock includes 12 default theme faces for you to choose from, 2 of which will cycle stock installed photos or link directly to your Google Photos account to cycle those if you want. Each clock face theme allows you to customize with different color options included in that face theme. Some of these faces even have a light and dark themed option you can set that will trigger between the two depending on the brightness of your room. Okay, so here's some of my personal thoughts when it comes to this smart clock. So the speaker is loud, however, I find it's not very bottom heavy. There's not a lot of bass to it. So compared to my Google Home Mini, which I also have, I'd almost say I prefer the sound of that better. However, you're just looking for volume, it works great. I mean, you're still gonna be able to enjoy your music, so that's a plus, but I just wish I could customize or equalize the sound a little bit more. Another thing I wish it had is more customization when it came to the clock faces. Now, the themes that are included, the clock faces that are there, there's a lot and they're great. However, I wish I could go online and go to a forum and download somebody else's who've made it, or even go and create my own somewhere else and install that on here as well. I just think it would add that much more of a personalization touch to it and would really bring it to life more. Now, the one cool thing about this thing is at nighttime, when you're going to sleep, the screen will adjust according to the brightness of your room. So the screen will actually get darker the darker the room is, so that you can sleep without a really bright screen in your face, because no one really wants that unless you're someone who likes having a nightlight on, that's great. However, I find it took me a while to get used to it, because while the screen got dimmer, it still had a faint glow to it because it is an LCD display. So there's a backlight lighting the screen up. So the fix of that would probably be an OLED display. Now it's a bit overkill, but here's why it would be better. Because an OLED display actually turns off the pixels on the screen that aren't being used. So whatever's black is truly black because those pixels aren't on. Now, while that's great, it's also probably pretty expensive and would drive the price of this up a little bit more. So I don't know if it's really worth the trade-off. I mean, like I said, I got used to the little screen being a little bit bright, but that's just my take on that. But all in all, this is a pretty great device. I mean, if you're in the Google ecosystem or wanting to expand it, it's a great addition. I honestly prefer this as a whole more than I do my Google Home Mini, because I find not only do I get the same features out of that, but I have the luxury of the touchscreen display. You know, I can go and see my doorbell, I can stop and play music, that sort of stuff. I just think it's a better all-in-all device, including the same features I would pay for something like the Google Home Mini. Cool, so that's it. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.